What's going on, everybody? We've got a lot to cover tonight here. We want to talk about how the Orioles built this contender, how it started to fail, and can they get it back? And I've got a buddy of mine that I chat with pretty much every day over this exact topic, and we're going to go over it and see if the Orioles might not be as far off as you think.
Big town sport, yeah, we run the O's top. Best of Baltimore, yeah, you know we don't stop. If you rock with the birds, hit subscribe right now. Orange and black, we leading the crowd.
So what's going on, everybody? I got my buddy Alex here, and like I said, we chat baseball all day long. We talk analytics, we talk the Orioles, pretty much any topic you can think of. Alex and I go ahead and we talk about it every single day. Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself here to everybody.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thanks, Zach. Alex Basto, big, longtime Oriole fan. Grew up in Rockville, so I'm a Montgomery County Oriole fan from way back. Never transitioned to the Nats. Never will. But, yeah, excited to be here. Zach and I played against each other, I don't know, 20-something years ago. He had 3 bombs in a tournament in a game against us, but I think we both struck out against Brett Cecil at some point 20 years ago. So we got that in common, but excited to talk birds with you tonight. It's a good night to do it, right, Zach?
Yeah, they're playing pretty good right now. All they needed was a little bit of a mustard win. Just a little
exactly.
mustard.
And dogs and bark in the park night.
Yeah. Mustard on the dogs, right? No. All right, so what do you think? So, listen, we read a lot about how the Orioles window closed quickly, and people thought that, maybe this whole thing failed and they should just blow it all up. Give me your thoughts on that. We talk about this a lot.
Yeah, I think it's almost like they got better than we all thought they would get early. Maybe with guys that we didn't think, and maybe even they didn't think, would pop the way they did. Santander, Cedric Mullins. Remember in 2019, Cedric Mullins went down to Bowie.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden in 2021, they're asking him not to switch hit anymore. He was a switch hitter when he started, and then he goes 30-30. I think the only Oriole to do so. Santander popped, I think, a way they didn't think. Hayes was probably a little bit less than what they thought, just from the injuries, but sort of that wave, right? That iteration of them.
Mountcastle too.
Mountcastle, right? 33 bombs. I remember I was at opening day 2021, hit that right center bomb. And I think they popped maybe a little bit earlier than Mike thought they would, Sigma thought they would, But those guys sort of became the veterans 2022, 2023. All of a sudden you're finding a Ryan O'Hearn, you're finding sort of that value, which we'll talk about, where you don't expect it. While these prospects are coming up, the Rutschmans of the world, the Gunnars of the world, and sort of led into that 100-win season. Ramon Arias was a big part of that team. Leading to that 100-win season, and we're thinking, hey, this is only the start. Hasn't necessarily carried over in ways that we've talked about with injuries and maybe bad luck, some of the things that we're going to go over. But I'm starting to think maybe this is also more of an iteration thing, sort of that original foundation, and then the next wave was pretty good. And then that second wave that the Mayos, the Cowsers, the Kiersets haven't popped the way they thought they would to sort of sustain. But, they're playing well right now. See how they can sustain it.
Yeah. Yeah, so take me back to this Yankees game. And this is where everybody kind of points back to where they were on top of the world. And, I mean, you want to talk about their OPSs here and kind of leads into what you were just talking about. The whole team pretty much, outside of Cedric Mullins here was hitting. And, they were on top of the world. And everything that they do organizationally, because they still haven't changed, analytically, it worked. What happened?
It worked, right? And, I think that 2023 and this 2024 team, at least the first half of the year, they had an answer for everything. You threw a right-hander out there, you're getting O'Hearn. You threw a left-hander in there, hey, now you're getting Mountcastle, and both guys are hitting. You need a platoon guy, great, Arias. You need a guy to pinch run, great, Mateo. They had an answer for everything, right? The matchups worked. That's the thing that's kind of funny. It worked, right? And the matchups worked. And you look at this team, this box score, this is what we always talk about. This, I think, June 20th, 2024, they're 49-25. They're just kicking everyone's what. But you look at the OPSs and we're thinking this is the start. Only 2 guys from this lineup, Zach, are still on the team playing today, in this lineup today. And Gunner's OPS, Gunnar obviously has 2 bombs tonight, but His OPS right here is 965 in the middle of June.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's MVP level type stuff, other than Aaron Judge, right? Rutschman, 814 OPS. Obviously, he's playing really well right now, but I think if you and I had been doing this in 2024, we looked at this box score, we'd say, hey, Henderson will still be on the team. Rutschman's still going to be on the team. Cowser's probably going to be on the team hitting 30 to 35 bombs because that's when he was second rookie of the year. Jordan Westburg is going to be on the field. And then we're thinking sort of like the Jackson Holiday. That's 5 regulars.
Yeah.
That make a huge difference. So obviously you can't predict injuries. There's a lot of other things that have happened that we'll talk through. But, we always as a fan base go back to this sort of game as the tipping point, the change. And this is the week Bradish goes down. This is the week Wells goes down. Danny Coulombe goes down. John Means goes down. And I think in hindsight, it led to a little bit of panic.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good way to put it. And I mean, you put together this spreadsheet here. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in for people a little bit. Nope, it's not going to let me. Not properly, at least. But basically, like, this is what the prospect rankings looked like in those coming years. And like you said, we thought we were on top of the world here. I mean, we're talking 2024, like our top prospects were Holiday, Basayo, Cowser, Mayo, Kerstad, Enrique Bradfield, and Connor Norby with Dylan Beavers. You didn't even Chase McDermott. Like, we were ready to roll. Like, we had reinforcements. You had guys that could come up with speed and, dynamic power element. Like, and you could see from years past, like, it didn't work. Grayson Rodriguez is kind of fizzled out a little bit. Kyle Bradish, I think we can all say panned out, but like Kyle Stowers in 2022 is not here anymore. DL Hall's not here anymore. Yusniel Diaz, golly, out of baseball. Like, these were guys that were kind of leaned on to help take that next step. And some are still here and some aren't.
Yeah, and I think an important part of that too is Kyle Bradish popped. He also missed a year.
Yeah.
Year
and a half, really.
So that made a huge difference. But one of the things we talk about is, the hoarding prospects. Did they hold on to these guys too long? Did they pop the way they thought they would? If you go back to the 2022 deadline and you want to sort of go for it, right? And I think we were all in that sort of kind of what the Nats are in right now, honestly. Hey, do we kind of go for it? We're not really quite there. Our pitching's not that good. What do we do? Do we hold on to C.J. Abrams, et cetera? In 2022, you're trading Jordan Westburg, right?
Yeah.
You're trading Ortiz, or you're trading Cowser. And that's okay. The question is, what do you get back? Is it probably a mid-level pitcher? Because these guys, the value is so great now because all these guys are getting hurt. Most teams want to hold on to their aces until the very last second.
Right.
And now we're thinking, okay, that's 2022. We probably only have these guys as rentals 2023, 2024. So I almost think in hindsight, in some ways, like, there was a lot of misalignment in terms of the timing, which I don't know. Whose fault is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think some of these guys didn't pop the way they should have. Injuries, right? Kierstad was crushing the minors, gets popped in the head. It seems to have derailed things. Not his fault, obviously. Cowser hasn't taken that next step. But if you look at the hoarding prospects that we talked about, these guys play, man. They keep them, but it's not like they just keep them on the bench. Like, they've played these guys. They've played Gunnar. They've played Grayson Rodriguez. They saw that through for the most part. They play Adley. They play Jordan Westburg. They traded DL Hall or for Burns. Okay.
Even if we went through prior, like, what prospect did they really hold on to that maybe they shouldn't have?
The one I keep hearing about, and I don't necessarily disagree, but it's an interesting conversation, would be Mayo or would be Stowers.
Yeah, but we're talking these years. Like 2022,
years, yeah.
Mayo was in single A, right? 2023, I think. He was single A. So, I mean, like, can you really say you held on to these guys too much? Like, because think about it. They traded Zach Showalter and Cesar Prieto, who was a top 30 guy, for Jack Flaherty. And at the time, look, Jack didn't pan out, but that was a good move for the Orioles. Like, you got a pretty decent arm for Cesar Prieto and Zach Showalter. I thought Zach Showalter was going to be a lot better. I think he just got released the other day.
He's already got released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, and he was just a relief pitcher at 19. They had already pretty much decided that. So, like, that's not prospect hoarding in my opinion, because you gave away Cesar Prieto, who was a top 30, to bring in a well-established arm. Now, granted, his career has not been as effective since then, but, I mean, a lot of people argue the Kyle Stowers thing. You and I agree. Kyle Stowers was not the centerpiece of that trade. Connor Norby was. And now, Connor Norby's a first baseman who's hitting, 240? And, Kyle Stowers had a great year last year. And I think all of that that's more on the Marlins than it is on anything. Maybe on the Orioles for not being able to develop him, but they gave him a lot of opportunities. A lot. And he was a 240 hitter in AAA. How many opportunities are you going to get in the big league level if you're only hitting 240 in AAA? Yeah.
And they were kind of stuck, right? It's July of 2024.
Yeah.
A lot of pitching goes down. Hey, we need to replenish pitching. Did Mike panic? Did the team panic? Maybe a little bit, right? I think a little bit. There's a little bit of that. That's sort of that delineation, right? Trade deadline 2024. What do we do? Who do we trade for? We got to get pitching. We got to fill these holes this way. They probably made some trades that they didn't want to make. Yeah. I don't know that they wanted to make a Seranthony Dominguez trade or a Gregory Soto trade, but they probably felt like they had to. Hey, we're going to make the playoffs. We're 10 games up in the wild card, and Danny Coulomb might not come back.
You always need bullpen. Always. I always swear, and I have no information on it whatsoever, but I always swore that the Trevor Rogers trade was supposed to be for Ryan Weathers, and he literally got hurt a week before the trade deadline. And I think they pivoted. We thought we had a left-handed starter. All right, well, we got to deal with the Marlins. Let's just pivot to the next guy who's pretty decent. And not that I don't think that Rogers. I mean, obviously he's struggling bad right now, but I think he's fixable. But it's just I don't see that as a bad trade. I just think it was for the wrong guy. I think they really wanted Ryan Weathers, and like you said, they might have panicked, but it's still kind of worked out.
You got it. If you want to get something good, you got to trade something good, right?
Yeah.
And if you're looking outside looking in, we're not fans for a second, we're objective. Who are Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers? Are they Hall of Famers? No. Connor Norby, who I saw in Miami a couple weeks ago, he was playing first base. He was hitting 240.
Yeah.
I mean, are you
which is an up year for him compared to last year?
Yeah. And in return, you get a starting left-handed pitcher you had 2.5 years of control of. You're getting, these trades are mid-level pitchers.
That's all you're going to get nowadays, right?
Right, unless you're trading true major league talent, it's just hard to get these guys,
Yeah. I mean, look at the Crochet trade. I think the Crochet trade put the White Sox, a year, maybe two ahead of where they were supposed to be because of the talent they got back. And it's worked out. I guess you could say it's worked out for both teams. Maybe. I mean, Boston had a good year last year, but they're not now. They could use a catcher. They traded Kyle Teal, but they lost. I forget the center fielder's name, but he's going to be freaking good. And not saying that they need a center fielder, but they need a little bit of offense.
I think they got Braden Montgomery in that.
Braden Montgomery, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he's a dynamic player. But it propelled the White Sox. Why wouldn't the White Sox make that trade? But that kind of trade, and you and I talk about this all the time, it doesn't happen that often anymore. You're not getting that trade done at the deadline anymore.
I mean, you want to talk about analytics and how, if anything, analytics has leveled the playing field.
Yeah.
Now, how teams are utilizing sort of the deep analytics, that's probably team to team, algorithm to algorithm. But, I look at, as you know, I do the Immaculate Grid every day. So I do a lot of, kind of looking at old school baseball players, and it's amazing how many of these guys that we think were awesome players. I don't even know that they'd crack a roster today, man. They got negative WARs in 1998. They got one WAR, and we're thinking hey, this guy was awesome. Which obviously is a Major League Baseball player. He was good, but you know where I'm going with that. Whereas now it's hey, that kind of guy. Hey, we can find someone else who's cheaper, probably a little bit better, a little bit faster. So I think that's leveled it's leveled the playing field. How you're utilizing it, maybe a different story. But analytics has been around for 160 years, right? We got what's batting average? It's a quantifiable number. What's an ERA? It's a quantifiable number. What we figured out a way to do is really make it more micro. to kind of find edges here and there.
Yeah, they started adding in like OPS kind of exploded in the last 5 years. That's come with exit velocity and launch angle and stuff like that. OPS became the bigger thing to look at. ERA kind of died off, and you started looking at FIP because of how a guy, maybe his defense played or what things that he could control. Wins basically, died off. Like nobody even cares about wins anymore for pitching. To me, I it's not an end all be all thing, but I love the fact that a guy still has to go 5 innings with a lead. Right? That means something to me. But it does suck when his bullpen blows it for him. But again,
well, I'll tell you, I've talked about it. I was fortunate enough to watch a game with Jim Palmer years ago, and I asked him, "Hey, if you were playing today, like, how would you use analytics?" He's like, "Well, I'd love to have it. I have feel, but if I knew," and he said something to the effect of like, "Hey, if I knew that I was getting this guy out on this pitch in this quadrant of the strike zone 60% of the time, don't you think that I would keep going back to that?"
Right. Yeah.
Those are sort of those micro analytics that, he definitely had feel for, but you want the conviction of it too, So it's like, how do you marry the two?
Yeah. And that's probably the big thing nowadays is like early on, I think the Orioles found a way to marry the two. Yeah. Almost, same with the Astros before anybody else. And now it's like every team has 20, 30, 40 guys in their analytic department. Or, they have these like database guys and stuff. Like they're putting all this together every single day. It's not just the Orioles anymore.
Yeah.
And everybody's using it. And they're trying to find little ways to get around it. Like, if you held your grip this way, you're getting this much spin rate on that curveball, which is giving you this much more depth and this much more drop. They're looking at everything. And it to me, it definitely does help. The exit velocity craze, I understand people don't like it. But when you look, like I pulled it today, I pulled every team in baseball and their averages on balls on exit velocity over 100 miles an hour. League average is 570. League average. And somehow the Orioles are below league average there, which is funny. They're at 565. But I think it was Houston was at 638 on balls hit over 100 this year. And what I found wild to me was the Orioles just have the most outs this year on balls hit over 100. Well, third most, sorry. 173 outs on balls hit over 100 miles an hour, which is crazy. And that's just, is it bad luck? Is it rolling over? Is it still finding the barrel but just hitting it too low? Like, that's what analytics is good for.
That's what I was going to ask you. So is it a lot of ground ball outs?
Yes. Well, the heat map, but the heat map for every team pretty much shows a bunch of red at shortstop and second base. Like most people are hitting the ball hard.
Yeah. So your viewers, I'm sure, remember Daniel Murphy, and I've told you he's one of the best interviews I've seen. He's on Foul Territory every now and then. He's on a couple of different podcasts, and he always talks about hitting to the scoreboard. What's the scoreboard dictating? Are we up? Are we down? Am I ahead in the count? Am I behind in the count? If I'm behind in the count, what am I looking for? What's this guy typically throw? Am I shooting it the other way? How do I get into scoring position? How do I get on second? I'm not very fast. I know that ground balls, even if they're hit at 200 miles an hour, a ground ball in the big leagues is going to be a double 7% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys are too athletic nowadays.
They're too good. They're too good. For all the notion of like, hey, the defense in baseball is bad now and all that kind of stuff. I think we have a little bit of revisionist history on that, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are crazy good. They get the balls that they didn't 50 years ago. It's just a fact.
It's not even 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
Like 10 years ago, you had certain guys that could get to it, but now it's like your below average shortstop can get to that ball nowadays.
Yeah, the athleticism is just too good, and the guys are too good. I mean, dude, that play that Gunnar made in the hole 2 hours ago with the base loaded was fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, going back to Mike here, and I know you wanted to touch on more of his trades. Tell me your thoughts on the trades. Go ahead and break them down for me.
Yeah. Which one you want to break down first? You want to break down?
Well, I mean, so you and I, you and I talked about it before. So like going back to your panic comment, and I don't disagree with it because like he brought in Fujinami, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he was a panic trade?
I don't. I actually think he was a Mike trade where it was like, and that was 23.
Yeah.
I think that was like a, hey, this guy throws 103 miles an hour. You can't throw it over the plate.
Let's
I'll
try.
fix him. Yeah, like, I'll fix him. I fixed Felix.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even talk about Felix anymore.
Right.
They turned him into the best reliever in the game for a year and a half.
Yeah, dude was out of baseball before Mike called.
Yeah.
Just sitting at home. He was supposed to be in the Dominican military, I believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah. He had a 19 ERA with the Marlins.
I almost think, and this kind of leads into like what happened. It's like they stopped being who they were.
They lost their identity.
They lost their identity. What do I mean by that? I mean that they stopped fully relying on value, them finding value where others couldn't see it, like a Ryan O'Hearn, like a Ramon Urias, like even a Jorge Mateo. I mean, we could talk about Jorge Mateo all day long. He was a contributor, a solid contributor in the ways
For a couple of years, yeah.
to be for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You know, defensively, anywhere you needed him, other than center field.
Mm-hmm.
But second, short, pinch run, right? Adam Frazier had a role that was important for them.
Odor?
For $4 million. What happens when you then all of a sudden say, you know what, we can plug holes with mid-level talent like a Tyler O'Neill, some other guys. You become less nimble. You know, you can't just turn to the next guy that quickly, and I think that's really hurt them. You know, think about the domino effect that Tyler O'Neill's had on this team. Like, they had to trade for Taylor Ward.
Yeah.
If Tyler O'Neill hits 30 home runs last year, Taylor Ward's not on this team.
No. Grayson Rodriguez is still probably here.
He's either here or he's traded for somebody else that you need. You know, so
apparently Cano just got hurt.
there you go.
Yeah. Which
What
sucks.
happened?
I don't know. Just Andy Costa just tweeted it out. Just walked off the mound with Albernos. They left with bases loaded. So that's always nice.
They're winning. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's not good. What if he wasn't throwing hard?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's like they tried for like Eloy. Like Eloy wasn't that wasn't their thing. That was
Austin
like a
Slater, right? Like, didn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Like Austin, I kind of get it a little bit because you had a need for some help against left-handed pitching. But God, he was bad when he got here. He was real bad. And he's still bad.
I just remember that week before the playoffs, before they played the Royals, they got Westburg back. They got Kierstead back. They got one other guy back. And it was like, all right, hey, we're going to make the run in the playoffs now. These guys are healthy. We got Burns going. Eflin looks really good. And they scored 1 run in 2 games. I almost think sometimes it's like that shook them, that they didn't win that series. You know, that was almost
I believe
like
it.
Yeah, it's almost like when the Ravens lost that game to the Titans years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was almost like every game after that became just like this insane pressure cooker. Like, almost like if they had won that game and even made the AFC Championship game in 2019 or even lost in the Super Bowl, it's like, hey, but, you know, it's kind of off our back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It just put so much pressure on them. You could just see the panic in them last year in April, May when it wasn't going well. You could see the deflating nature of it. And it's like, how do they get that back?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's just, God, I don't even know. I don't even know how to talk about it, to be honest with you. Like,
I think they got to get back to being who they were, you know, making defensive plays, making it happen on the bases. So you're seeing it the last couple days.
It's good you say that too, because who they were, and people didn't like it, were dumpster divers for the bullpen. But it was effective back then. Jacob Webb gave you a lot of solid innings. Matt Bowman for last year and a half, 2 years, gave you some pretty solid innings. You know, dare I say it, but Perez was also a dumpster dive, and they got some really quality innings out of him for a year and a half. I think it was 22 and 23 though. But that's what they did. They found these guys who threw hard, who struggled a little bit. But now I would say the difference is that I think they developed them a little bit better under Chris Holt. Not saying that Drew French hasn't done that, because he has with certain guys, but that was their thing, is they went out and found a different guy And it kind of goes back to like what you were talking about with the desperation. Remember Theo Estrada?
Yes.
The guy who threw like 102 and he came in like walked like 6 guys.
Yeah.
And then like we never heard from him again. I'm pretty sure he didn't even play baseball again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that just he didn't fit what they were doing. And I'm not even sure if like really Fujinami fit. But I agree with you. I think they saw a guy that threw really hard and they wanted to try to fix it. Which I don't blame them. But you know, it's just, yeah, I think they have kind of gotten away a little bit because they used to bring in a veteran once in a while, Odor, Frazier, like you were saying. You had Aaron Hicks, yeah. And now it's like, you know, last year's veteran was what, Eloy? That was kind of it, right? Who else did they bring in for the hitting?
O'Neill. Yeah,
I'm talking about at the deadline.
Oh, at the deadline.
It was just Eloy, right, for hitting?
Yeah.
Or Austin Slater.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider him like a veteran leader kind of thing. Yeah, but I mean, I think they can get back to where they were and how they did things. They just got to remember who they are. I think they were a good scrappy baseball team who played hard defense. They put the ball in play. They were never out of a game, and then it was all of a sudden it was just like, and we saw it as fans. They just wanted to hit home runs, or they wanted to swing for home runs. And I think that deeded away from their identity too.
Yeah. Something happened in 2024. I think they got away from who they were.
Yeah.
You know, the injuries didn't help. I think injuries have made a huge difference because it's put guys in places they probably shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jordan Westburg obviously is a big injury. The guy's an all-star. He'd hit 25 home runs a season if he was healthy for 150 games.
Yep.
Obviously he's not, and you got to pivot. Have they done the best job pivoting? It's hard to say. The answer is yes. Right. Do they still have good players? Yeah.
Yeah.
Teams would die to have Adley. Teams would die to have Gunnar. I think if you put Colton Cowser on the Nats right now, they'd be salivating. Paul DeBoni would be salivating with what he could do with that guy.
For sure.
The question is, I want to figure out what to do with that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's got talent. I want to figure out how to fix that guy before someone else does and gets their hand on him. The pitching obviously is another story. I think too, and you know, I don't know that this is an ownership thing. I don't have a problem with the ownership at all, but they got to not worry about, you know, quote unquote, winning the offseason, because as you and I talk about all the time in December, hey man, when it's mid-May, nobody cares. You just got to win.
Yeah.
You just got to win. If you're winning with players nobody's ever heard of, guess what? Nobody cares. They'll still watch when they're winning.
Yeah. And you and I were talking earlier, and I'm glad you kind of put that up here. But like, if we had to sit here right now with Kyle Tucker, right? We gave him that massive contract, and I reposted it. He was hitting 245 since last July with just 9 home runs. Like, that would cripple this franchise. Dodgers don't care.
No, they're in a completely different world, right? Orioles will never be in that world. It's fine. LA, Dodger Stadium, it's great. Sunshine, doesn't rain, beach balls, all that stuff. If you've never been out there, it's fantastic. But
yeah,
they're paying for the top. It's, you know, hey, they only got Freddie Freeman because the Braves didn't want him. Yeah, because they could pay an exorbitant amount of money, and if it doesn't work out, they don't really care. And that's just kind of how it goes, right? Like, they're paying for the top-level talent. The issue, I think, is when you get into that mid-level tier, the 3-year, $50 million tier.
Right.
That's really where you're overpaying, and you're not getting the results that you need.
Yeah, I'd look at Alex Bregman right now.
Yeah, like I'd almost rather dumpster dive than sign those kind of guys, because they fill up a roster. You can't just cut them as easily. You can't be as nimble. It crams everything up. Easier said than done to just say, hey, you know, we'll send you packing tomorrow. I get that. You know?
Yeah, and like you said, Tyler O'Neill kind of crippled what they've had to do right now. They've had to pivot. They've had to bring in other players. They had to trade guys with control to bring in Taylor Ward. Like, it's a big deal for a small market franchise. And you're seeing it kind of happen right now in San Diego. Like, San Diego has a good team. But, you know, they're, even with a new owner, they have to still find some kind of cash flow. They're still trying to figure out how they can get pitching. They depleted the whole farm to try to make a run the last 2 years. Didn't work out. Now look at them. Now they're trying to say, okay, well, maybe we can go get, who's the closer? Oh, Chapman from the Red Sox, right? Because we can't
they're
acquire
basically
starting
building the
pitching.
craziest bullpen ever.
Yeah, because they have nothing to go and acquire pitching, right? They need a little bit of help. Their whole outfield's really not hitting. Tatis, pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
Merrill, struggling. Laureano, really not good. So they don't have an outfielder that can even hit. Like, can't go out and get one to help. So we've seen what these kind of mid-level teams can get crippled by. And the Neal thing, did it stink? But I also think that it was kind of like it had to happen. Like, I felt like O'Neal was a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause without him, what free agent was going to say, like, Baltimore talks a big game, but are they really going to pay the money? But then they say, okay, well, Tyler O'Neill just got $16.5 million a year. Like, that's a big deal. But,
Yeah.
Still can't lend the pitching, but that's a whole nother story.
I've ignored the pitching because I don't even know what to say about that.
We just got a little screwed a couple times.
Yeah.
But that's happened. That's the game.
That is the game, yeah. Hey,
That's the game.
I was talking to a buddy of mine, one of my best friends is a huge Tigers fan. He's from Detroit area. It's not just us, man. They tanked. They had a little peak. 2024, they went on that 25-game winning streak, and it's like, here we go, and it just hasn't happened, right? Like, it's not just the Orioles. The Orioles have, for some reason, become kind of the poster child, but like, it's not just the Orioles. Like, there's other teams where this has happened. The question is, how do you pivot? Where do you go from here? I think the thing that scares us all is we're looking at this as a 2-year thing because I think Gunnar's going to leave. But, so that's kind of what we're looking at is, okay, how do we maximize the next 2.5 years? What do you do? That I don't know. That they have to sort of figure out. But
Ben Verlander just posted that he thinks the Padres are going to acquire Adley Rutschman at the deadline. Why? And for who?
I don't even know. Who's their catcher? I don't even know.
Yeah. Last year was Elias Diaz.
Right.
He was like 35. But which is fine. Sure. I don't see why the Orioles would be shopping Adley when they're 2 games out of a wild card and potentially only 1 after tonight. But if they did, let's play devil's advocate here. Who do the Padres even have? Like, legitimately.
Manny, but he's never coming back. He's a 5-10 guy. Why would he leave the beach?
He's
not leaving.
He wouldn't.
No.
They do have the catcher, but I mean, are they going to send him back when he's 20
Elias.
years old? Like, why would?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, why wouldn't you just maybe try to have him? Have him work out. Now they do have Schoolcraft, but he's in A ball. Mendez is in A ball. Cash Mayfield A ball. Like, all their top pitching arms are in A ball. I don't think that helps the Orioles at all.
No.
Their best player might be Braden Carpathios. He's an outfielder. We don't need that, but he's only in Double-A. Garrett Hawkins is in Triple-A, but that's your 12th prospect. You're not getting Adley Rutschman for your 12th prospect. Like,
no.
Why would we even talk about that?
It just goes back to, hey, you got to trade these guys before they become free agents where you can get them at their value. But at some point, I said this like 2 or 3 years ago, at some point, it's like, I got to keep these guys because they're good. Like, I need them on the field. I can't just keep trading them for future 3 to 4 years down the line. And by the way, like, we've been screaming at them to do that. They did, right? They did. They just traded for Shane Boss. Like, that's a win now, or at least get a good, controllable, we at least sort of know what we're getting out of this type of guy. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
We can't kind of have it both ways on that end. But I don't know, man. The Gunnar thing is fascinating because they cannot have another Machado situation where
I don't think Gunner's leaving.
it's 3 months.
I don't think he's leaving.
I mean, I think not.
I think they know the same, what you just said. They know they can't let that happen again. And I honestly think that Gunnar doesn't mind it. He's a small town Southern guy. Manny was a South Beach, Miami dude who, like, that lifestyle he was already accustomed to, that rich lifestyle. And he knew he wasn't going to get it here. He could have got something here, but obviously he went and got more. I just think Gunnar, if you give Gunnar a good deal, and I'm not saying like an overpay deal. I think you give him a good deal. I think he's going to take it.
The question then is also, okay, he's a $500 million player. Is he? I don't know.
I think he's probably good around that 360, 375 range.
Does he take that though? Or does he go, hey,
I think he
thanks for the
does.
offer. This is the starting point for the market.
You keep it pretty short. You know, I'm not talking about like 15 years like Machado was. You keep that like to where it's like a high AAV. We're talking like 40, 45, maybe 47 a year. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? Because then he gets a chance. Because he's what right now? He's what, 24, 25?
He's about to turn 25. He's about to turn 25.
So you could give him a 7-year deal, right? And he's 32, and say he has a really good job, and he just made $375 million for 7 years, and he gets a chance to crack at another 100, 150, 200, depending how good he's hitting. Why wouldn't he? Is my question. Why wouldn't he? Because contracts, maybe by then, maybe he gets a 4-year, $200 million deal by then. Might even be more than that. Might even be a 2-year, $200 million deal for who knows because of inflation by then. Who knows? Yeah. Why not? Why lock yourself in to this long-term deal at $23 million a year? You could double it in 7 years.
I don't disagree with you. I got to see it to believe it. And honestly, that's not even an Orioles thing. That's just
baseball
history
thing.
of baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's just kind of the nature of Boris guys. You know, they go to the market, and it's their right? Like they
earned
have
it.
the right to do that. I wouldn't blame him if he did. I get it.
If you last 6 years in the big league, you definitely earn it. You don't owe anybody anything. You know, because it's a business, man. It's a business, and it sucks for the fans, but for the player, I mean, you went through a lot and you earned it. I definitely get it. Get it. But how do the Orioles? How do they find their identity again? I know we keep kind of getting off track, but how do they find their identity again? Like, what would be a move this year to make them go back to the old Orioles?
Yeah, I think a lot of it just starts with who they have in house. You know, like you and I were talking earlier when Blaze Alexander came up with 1 out, bases loaded. They were up 3-0 at the time. And what's he do? He just serves the ball to right field.
Yeah.
Right? Outside pitch, right field. He's kind of, you could see the last week, like, I don't know if they told him or he just figured it out, like, hey, this is who I am. Like, I'm not going to hit bombs. You know, I got to take it the other way. I think a lot of these guys.
I think he was hitting a couple bombs in spring training and got real excited.
Spring training, he was.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I saw Jorge Mateo in Cincinnati in batting practice hitting oppo bombs. Everyone thinks they're a good baseball player until they see a guy like that hit bombs. It's like, maybe I'm not as good as I think.
Yeah.
But I think they got to get back to there. Like Blaze, Leote, Taveras, like those are old school Mike moves.
Yeah, they are.
Like
Mike seems to find an outfielder every year that's pretty freaking serviceable here.
Well, yeah,
and I think that's kind of under the radar
good.
For him.
Yeah, that's where he's good. Hey, this guy's 27 years old. He's been around a little bit. We think that we can work with him. You know, a little bit of tweak there. He's a good baseball player. He's not going to hurt us. He'll steal some bases for us, and he'll get on base. He had a bunt single yesterday.
You know what was one of the most underrated things that I don't think really anybody paid attention to? It was his best year of his career was in 2023 in Texas. You know who his hitting coach was in 2023 in Texas?
No. Was it Donnie Ecker?
Donnie Ecker.
Yeah.
Brought him back here. He's comfortable again. Now, Donnie was still the hitting coach the last couple of years, but he was more of like an advisor. Like he wasn't the hitting coach anymore. There was something going on with Bruce Bochy, and a lot of people wanted Bruce Bochy, but apparently Bruce went rogue. Did not want anybody to listen to any of his coaches. That's a whole story for another day. But Donnie's back in his like element now, and Leote's playing pretty good baseball. They seem to work well together. I don't think there's any negatives to that. It's every year. That's one of Mike's finds is just some random outfielder that is on the end of their career that just kind of figures it out again.
And he's doing what you'd want him to do. He's probably a 1 WAR guy this year, a 2 WAR guy at best this year. he's doing what I need him to do, right? Like
Yep.
your guys who are all-stars, it's a lot of pressure, but it is what it is, right? That's, as Don Draper once said in Mad Men, that's what the money's for, right? Like you got to be a 30 to 40 home run guy if you're Gunnar, if you're Pete, if you're
Yeah.
Taylor Ward, right? Like you got to be. Otherwise, none of the other stuff works. And that's
Yep.
it's probably not fair, but it's like an NBA player who scores 25 a game and is the best player on the team. Like, hey man, but we got to have you do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't matter. Like we can't rely on Jackson Holiday hit 350. It's just not realistic. We can't rely on Kobe Mayo to hit 30 home runs this year. Like anything we get from them is a bonus.
Right.
Like your guys got guys.
Now, what do you think he can do if he had one choice, whether that be to add to the stout bullpen or make the bullpen stout or acquire a starter? What would you rather have?
The price, I'm sure, matters to him from a value perspective, but starting is always important. Bullpens obviously lock down games, but you're seeing it this week, right? You get out to a lead, you dictate the game. It's like any other sport. You're dictating the game. You're playing at your own pace. You're probably more aggressive on the base pass when you have a lead. The other team's a little tighter, right? Like how often are we watching games where we're catching up? It's just hard to play catch up.
Every first and second inning.
Right, and it's hard to play catch up in the big leagues. But if you're up in
Yeah.
the first 5 innings, I don't know what the stat is historically in baseball. My guess is if you have a lead after the 5th inning, even if you have the worst bullpen ever, you're probably winning that game 70 to 75% of the time. Just with the nature of this is the big leagues. I'd rather have
Guys
a
still
starter
get
so I can
themselves out. They
Guys
still get themselves out. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're behind and they're pressing.
So
That was another big thing about 2023, 2022, 2024 early. Man, they pounced on guys. They were up 2-3-0 before you blinked.
Right.
Makes a difference.
and they were scoring 5 runs a game. They were averaging 5 runs a game. I think 5.03. I think, but it was like top 5 in baseball. And then
Listen, when you hit 3 bombs in a game on us in 2004 and it was 150 degrees, 3-0 quick, I was like, man, it's hot. Let's go to the pool. I'm done.
exactly, the
Get outta
players
here.
probably felt the same thing. Yeah. It happens, and but I don't know what kind of starting pitching's available. I think you're gonna. You and I talked about it too. Nobody really trades their top prospects anymore either. It's pretty rare. I know we saw Leo DeVries traded last year, but that was for a closer. Like that was like he
Right,
was
that
like
was for a
number 3
closer.
overall.
Yeah, like whoever's trading for Scooble is trading. Like you got to trade bona fide major.
They're
leaguers,
trading 10 comp picks somehow.
right?
I don't know how they're going to do it, but they're going to do
The
it.
question is how. Yeah,
Yeah.
going to the Dodgers. The question is how.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dodgers is going to find some offshore bank account to load the owner's money up or something. I don't know.
Do you remember 2008 CC Sabathia goes to the Brewers?
Yeah. It helped
Do you
them make
remember
a pretty good run.
He was incredible. Do you remember who he was traded for? The prospect. It was a top prospect at the time. Do you remember who it was?
No.
All right, it was Matt Laporta. And it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh,
how do you
yeah.
trade Matt Laporta? Man, Matt Laporta, no offense to him, like that's not even a consideration, a guy like that today.
Yeah.
Top 10 prospect for a pitcher like that, man. You got to be trading a 19-year-old Manny Machado.
Shoot, who did Yordan Alvarez got traded when he was 19 for like a scrub reliever. Who was
Yeah.
that for?
Yeah, because he came up with the Dodgers. I forgot.
Yeah, they just didn't have any room for him. Who was it for? Golly. Josh Fields. And at that year, he would mostly pitched in AAA, but he had a 1.65. And got traded for Yordan Alvarez. That's crazy. But like that, yeah, those. I mean, like you goes back to what you said. Value. You got to find value. But like I looked at it today. Like for third baseman, there ain't nothing there. Like Royce Lewis might be the only option. What's Royce Lewis? Like, could he help this ball club?
No.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
define help.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Is it better than what we have? and can he stay healthier than what we have? That would be my definition.
He hasn't proven it.
Right. That would be another outside of my identity and praying that it all goes well. And I think that's what got the Orioles in the position that they were in, is they had to pray a lot on certain things to pan out.
And I know that there's a lot of criticism on that. But I think that's just part of sports, isn't it? Like, hey, we brought these guys in to do this and it didn't work out. Like, it's hard to pivot sometimes. It's kind of like when the Ravens inevitably lose a cornerback in August 16th, and it's like, hey, let's go find a star cornerback. It's like,
who?
Great, yeah, like those guys are already starters on another team. Otherwise,
somebody asked.
Let
me fix this up here. What about Casey Mize?
Yeah.
He's pitching
That's
well.
actually an interesting name. Yeah, it's an interesting name.
He used to be a top prospect, and it would have costed you a ton. A ton.
Yeah.
No, is that who I'm thinking of? Who was the guy that got hurt? Jackson Jobe. That's who I was thinking of.
And Mize.
But either or, I mean,
More recently,
Mize is still going to cost you a lot, regardless.
Yeah.
But Detroit's really only, 3 games out of the wild card anyway?
I think they're like 13 games under 500 now. What is that? Is that 4 games out? What is that?
Something like that. It's not much. I mean, it's a pretty close race in the AL. I'm sorry. Detroit's 5.5. 5.5. Now I'll tell you who I would really like, and it would cost you. It would cost you a ton. But I think he's probably the most logical thing for the Orioles right now, and for the Angels, would be Jose Soriano.
Yeah,
got a couple more years. Yeah, a couple more years control. It's going to cost a lot, but let's face it. The Angels aren't. They're not close. They're not close. But that would help propel the Orioles big time. That's a number 2, maybe a number 3 type arm. Does it really help you where you want to go? No, but it definitely raises the floor a lot more. And we talked about that this offseason, raising the floor. It would help a lot, especially going forward.
Yeah. You think the Angels are trading with the Orioles again for a pitcher?
Listen, they wanted Grayson Rodriguez. That's their fault.
Yeah.
That's their fault. Soriano would cost a boatload. But I mean, for a guy with his talent, I think I would pay it. Like, even if I had to send another arm or 2 back, I think I'd pay it. Like
kind of
Mia.
like what they did with Boz.
Yeah, just Esteban Mia, right? Would it be awesome to have him? Sure, probably would. Yeah, he throws hard. Probably going to get hurt, so you're going to miss a year out of him. He's not going to help you, I would say, within the next 2 years. Soriano does. Something like that, I'd probably do. Now, if I had to trade Trey Gibson, I probably wouldn't do that. But somebody that's like long-term, Mia, for them, I think maybe Boston Bateman would probably have to be in the conversation. That would probably change things a little bit more, in my opinion, but because I feel like he's probably closer than Mia is. But like Luis De Leon, for Jose Soriano, I'd let him go. And he's in Double A.
I guess the question too, since we're talking a bit about pitching now, why do you feel like they're pitching? Because with Chris Holt, it was really good. 22, 23. What do you think happened from the pitching development standpoint? Like, why aren't these guys coming up and shoving right away, or at least being serviceable?
I think they did focus on a lot of velo only. I mean, when you look around, I forget who posted it. Might have been Zach from the Baltimore Battery. I think it was like 55 total guys in the whole org is on the IL, and most of them were pitchers. I mean, how do you get hurt nowadays? Try to throw hard, try to spin rate, try to flick it all in there. I think they were all chasing a lot of velo. Some guys were, again, trying, like back to what you were saying, trying to be something you're not, try to throw a little bit harder, and just getting hurt. Or just they can throw hard and they can't locate it. And I will say, I mean, Chris Holt was good, but I mean, Chris Holt went to the Red Sox and they haven't been great. Like, bellow, it just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So was it a Chris Holt thing? Or was it things that just worked here prior and then changed? Those are all lumped in the same question, honestly. It's so hard to answer.
I think that's the other thing too. It's like just like anything, baseball evolves. You got to evolve with it. So like Astro Ball, what the Cardinals were doing with Mike, with Lou now, then the Astros in 2013, 2015, up through. You got to remember, like Mike took 2 pitchers, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them, I think Appel made the major leagues. He made like maybe 3 starts for the Phillies years and years later. So if you're him, you're like, hey, like I can't waste these kind of picks on these guys that are constantly getting hurt.
Yeah.
It's sort of a catch-22. The question is, okay, if you're going to take them in rounds 4 through 15, inevitably you're probably starting from behind because they're not going to have as much talent. So your development's got to be that much better. But everyone else catches up too, right? Like how did they sort of zig what the Astros were doing 10 years ago? How do they sort of make that pivot again? Where do they find that value where maybe they weren't finding it? I think part of it is, don't try and be someone you're not. Don't worry about pleasing the fans by signing somebody for $12 million. I could care less. The Pete one was super exciting. But, like, I don't care.
The Pete one you probably had to overpay.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, that's a guy I don't mind overpaying.
Chris Bassett, I don't think you needed to pay $18 million to.
No. And I'm
Maybe
sure he's
12.
great in the clubhouse. I'm sure he's a cool guy. Like, that's great. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Are they pitching, better because he's standing around? Maybe. I sometimes believe in that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it happens. I mean, even if he can't do it himself anymore, you see it with Scherzer. Scherzer, he's still pretty decent, but he's not what he was. But just him being around has helped everybody else. Maybe that's the case.
You hope he doesn't have a 5.5 ERA while he's doing it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. But you probably could have got him cheaper. But we don't know what his offer was from Toronto and what you had to pay him to want to leave. Like maybe he was content pitching out of the bullpen in Toronto. I don't know, but I'm glad they showed a willingness to go to a price that was maybe more than was worth because they weren't doing that for a couple of years. But maybe that's why they got away from their identity too. I don't know.
They just got to get back to it. They gotta develop that second wave. Like what happened after 2024. We're thinking Kierstad's going to take over. We're thinking Holliday's going to take over. Cowser's going to take over. Their last 6 draft picks from the first round haven't.
They're always hurt. I mean, even Bradfield always hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's made a huge difference too.
Yeah, and some of it, I think it's still too early to say it's talent for most of those top picks, but it's just been stupid injuries. I mean, like what happened with Kierstad. Yeah. You can't prevent myocarditis. You can't. You can't prevent really getting hit in the head. You can try, but it's hard to get out of the way.
He was raking before that too.
Right. Holiday, you can't really prevent the hamate bone. I mean, I guess you could. There's ways you could, but I mean, freak accident, right? He's probably been hitting that way for the last 5 years and never had an issue. Again, freak accident. Jordan Westburg slept on the bed mattress wrong. Tweaked his hamstring, running or ankle or something, running around second. Now all of a sudden there's phantom, not even a phantom, but some elbow injury happens when he's playing catch, rehabbing something else, like stuff that's uncontrollable. Like Adley fell completely off a cliff, after he got hit in the hand. But
happened.
Yeah, they didn't ever come out and say it, but Adley was hurt, right? Yeah. Like uncontrollable thing because it was a foul tip. Cowser, his was probably a little bit more controllable, diving in the first base and breaking his thumb, but, and then he had the concussion, like that's uncontrollable. He's just playing hard, like those things, and they constantly plague the Orioles. Ryan Mountcastle with the vertigo when he was pretty good. You had Hayes who kept getting hurt all the time, and he was really serviceable. I don't know. There's things you can't control, in my opinion. And like you said, the second wave hasn't graduated because they've been hurt a lot.
Yeah. And it's contributed, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, well, that you're hoping for the best case scenario. Well, yeah, I'm hoping that guys can stay on the field. Like, I don't think that's. I think
Right.
every team is banking on that. And in
Yeah.
terms of your depth, you can have as much depth as you want. Like, if you had a guy that was Jordan Westburg and he was ready to be Jordan Westburg, that's when that guy would probably be traded. I think the
Right.
reason that Kobe was traded was because no one was going to meet the asking price for Kobe Mayo. And they were like, hey, are we going to trade Kobe Mayo for a bullpen arm, or a number 5 starter?
Right. No.
No.
That's not
Right.
value.
It's
But
not value.
every team in baseball has their own Kobe Mayo already.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And that's on the Orioles for not
Sure.
developing the defense, honestly. Like, you could say you held on to him too long. I don't know if you did, because nobody knew who he was until he got to the big leagues. Like, you
Yeah.
can trade prospects in the minors all the day long, but when you're making trades for pitching, people, if you're sending a position player back, you better be pretty close to the big leagues, or ready to contribute in some way in the next year or two. And I don't think anybody knew who Kobe Mayo was outside of he had a lot of power. So they needed to see it. So, but yeah, I think that falls on the player development side of not getting his glove ready, or at least picking one position and getting it ready. But that came down to injuries.
There's
Playing
only so
playing
much.
places he shouldn't be,
I was gonna say it's only so much you can do sometimes too. It's like, hey, try him in right field. Well, he can't move.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's play him in at first base. Like, he's not gonna play shortstop. He's not gonna play second. He's not gonna play center. He's probably not gonna play left. So that leaves 3 positions. It's like Ryan Mountcastle, right? Like, they tried him in 3 different spots. He finally stuck at first because he got good at it. I went to spring training. They hit, the notion that, like, hey, these guys don't work on it. I was at spring training. They spent an hour on infield ripping balls at these guys in different ways, having them do different drills, right? And for the most part, 95% of the time, they're picking it. Different when you're out there, as you know. A little bit different when the lights are on.
Oh, I mean, coaches can't hit 108-mile-an-hour fungos either. They can try.
Right, Miguel Cairo's not hitting it 100 anymore.
Albie can try all he wants, but it may be coming off about 88, 90 maybe. He's not coming off 108. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But what do you think? You think the Orioles are going to make a turnaround here and get back to their ways? And it seems like things in the last week or so, in my opinion, have taken a complete 180 turn. Guys are looking to drive the ball. I shouldn't say drive it, but I've seen less uppercutting swings and a little bit more of like competitive swings. Do you think that sticks, or is this just something right now that they're just listening to for now?
I think if it's successful, it sticks. What they've shown is, they're kind of front runner-ish, which, listen, everyone in life is a front runner, right?
Yeah.
When it's going well, you feel much better than when it's not going well, and you sort of die into habits. So much of it just depends on the pitching, the starting pitching. Are we getting leads early? Are we able to capitalize? I love the swing yesterday from Jackson with the Holiday, bases loaded, just kind of served it the other way. Like, be who you are. You hit 300 in the minor leagues because you made pitchers come to you and because you hit the ball where it was pitched. Like, we've been doing this thing for 160 years, Major League Baseball, right? Like, hit them where they ain't, hit the ball hard, pitch well, catch the ball. I don't need everyone to be a gold glover like the 2014 Orioles. I just make the routine plays. Why did the Rays lose the last 2 games? They didn't make the routine plays. Their pitching was good. They didn't make the routine plays.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy that their pitching was the one who's pretty much making all the errors.
Yeah, I got to see to fully not buy back in, but feel like, hey, like, there's something going on here. Kind of like that 22, right? They went on the 10-game winning streak. It wasn't when Adley got there. It still took about a month and some change until they really sort of took off and had that 10-game winning streak. I think we got to see 6 weeks here of,
6 weeks a lot.
550 baseball. Yeah, but it's baseball, right? Like, a week is nothing. We got to see 6 weeks of like 550 baseball. I think 525, 550 baseball to be like, hey, like, there's something going on here.
They win 6 out of the next 10. How you feeling?
better than I felt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's kind of like what Showalter used to say, right? Like it's never as bad as it looks. It's never as good as it looks.
Yeah,
Like
I used to
where are
love
you?
that quote.
It's like where are you in the middle, right? Like where are you over the course of the season? Because you're
Yeah.
gonna lose games 16-4 every now and then.
Right.
You know, you're gonna win games 16-4 every now and then. The question is like, what are you doing in the rest of those games, and how do you look when you're doing it?
Yeah. Yeah. So if the Athletics and the Jays lose tonight, we'll be a game out of the wild card.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
well,
how do you
either
tell the
either way,
players
if the Athletics lose, we're a game out.
Yeah,
Who are they playing?
dude,
They're playing the
it's
Yankees.
May
So
27th.
yeah,
It's May 27th. They got 4 months left to go. Like, how do you tell the players, like, hey, are we buyers or are we sellers? Should we just pack it in because we thought we'd be 20 games over 500? It's like,
right.
no, like they're going to show up and play.
So you remember that stat the other day I was going around how they weren't beating teams over 500.
Yeah,
They have the third most wins in the
158.
AL now over against teams above 500.
Yeah, they just had 3 in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, so now they're 11-18. Now, obviously, they have the most losses, but Seattle is 11-14. Cleveland is 12-12, and Tampa is 14-12. So they went from being one of the worst in the AL to being tied for the third best overall. So, but
Yeah,
I think a little bit more. Got to see a little bit more. Got to see a little bit more consistent offense. One series is great, but I'd like to see 2, 3, 4 series. Take it one game at a time. One game at a time.
they're not facing Cease this week, right? They got to take advantage.
Or Gossman.
Or Gossman. Yeah, they got to take advantage. This is a 4-game series.
Is it?
You know, I believe
Okay.
so. I think they play tomorrow. So bare minimum 2 out of 4.
Yeah.
You know, you take 3 out of 4, and you're gaining 2 games on the Jays just like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you take 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 3 out of 4 from the Jays, you're in the wild card, I believe. Like you
got
have the last
Boston
spot.
next week. Dude, the Red Sox, I don't know if they won tonight or not, but yesterday they were 8-18 at home. The last time that they were, I think I saw the stat, it was like the last time that they were that far under 500 at home
Yeah.
was like 1932.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, hey, the Orioles are 17-13 at home. They just got to figure out that what's going on away. They're 9-17.
yeah.
That's the big difference here. Like Oakland is 17-14. Seattle's 14-14. Cleveland's 17-13. Tampa's 15-14. Like Yankees are 16-13. This is all away. If the Orioles can kind of get a little bit more consistent on the road, I think this thing will turn around a little bit.
Yeah. And hey, 4
But
months
yeah.
to go, right?
Stack it at home for a bit
Yeah.
because they have
4 months.
how many more games at home in a row here? 7?
I think this is it after the 4-game series here.
4, yeah. And then after
Then I
that,
think they
they're
go
on
to
the
Boston,
road
right?
for 6, and then they're home for 7. Oh, that's going to be a brutal stretch right after that home series.
Yeah.
Yeah, mid-June they'll be in Seattle for 3, in the Dodgers for 3, and in the Angels for 3. Golly, that's going to be terrible for my sleep schedule trying to stay up for those games.
I can't do it anymore.
No.
I can't do the West Coast anymore. I
It's
check
brutal.
the score at 4.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
All right, man. So what else? Any other things you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I think we covered it. Just get back to who they were. You know, it might not be an overnight thing, but, you know, you look at it long game, 1, 2 years, sort of this program that they're building. You know, find value where others aren't. And don't panic. I think that's the biggest thing. Don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic. What would you think is a panic trade at this deadline? Dustin May.
I was going to say, yeah, like who's
Speaking
an
of him,
oft-injured reliever.
Did you see him have was it today? He had a no-hitter, either today or yesterday. He had a no-hitter in the 8th.
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you see the fly ball?
Yeah.
Tell me you thought that, or let me ask your opinion. Did you think that there was enough effort there?
Yes,
It's
and
really
no.
hard to say
Yes and no.
because I feel like
I think it
the shadow kind of screwed with it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I that was a catchable ball.
I think it always looks bad when there's a no hitter and a guy doesn't just do the performative layout just to
Yeah.
make it look like, hey, I did the best I could. But I'm also of the mind that, like, if you're running through the ball Jerry Rice style, you probably have a better chance to catch it most of the time.
Yeah.
But I know the play you're talking about. It's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like when people last year when Jackson Holiday hit the home run against the Japanese pitcher who's amazing.
Yamamoto.
Yeah, and he had in the ninth inning with 2 outs, and
Yeah.
after replay upon replay, people were like, "Man, why didn't the right fielder just like jump into the stands?" It's like, well, the ball was 10 feet over his head. But
Yeah.
like on replays, it looks bad, but it's like, nah, it was way over his head. Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
have done anything.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
guess I'd
think?
have to see a different angle.
What do you? I mean, what do you think? What do you think they have to do next? What's the next year look like for them?
That's tough because I'm still under the impression you need a little bit more offense. You need more consistent offense, I should say. Now, if these guys want to start hitting consistently, by all means, keep them here. But if they're not, I think you need to find some consistent offense, whether that be a full-time center fielder, a full-time third baseman. I don't know. Do you want to empty the farm a little bit and acquire an expiring contract starter? I don't know if that's the play, unless you're really, really going after it. Like if they go on a little bit of a run here and all of a sudden they're like 4 games up, 5 games up in the wild card, yeah. Go ahead and empty them prospects a little bit, have a good draft, kind of replenish a little bit. But I mean, other than that, that's a tough call. How they look, hopefully they look healthy.
Yeah,
You need to keep some guys on the field. You need to see what this team does with Dylan Beavers, with Ryan Helsley, with Dean Kramer, with what's already all here, and then kind of go from there. Because maybe adding a Beavers to this lineup with a little bit better of an eye and a little bit more of a contact swing with pop really sets them up well. And having that back end guy in Helsley, just slam the door. Dean Kramer give you another quality innings and stuff like that, and some good starts in the AL East. Like they can change some games. Where he might even be in the bullpen. I don't know. Maybe Trevor Rogers goes to the bullpen and finds himself a little bit. You never know. I mean, Griffin Jax was a failed starter and became a really good reliever in Minnesota, and now he's back to being a pretty good starter. So these things happen in baseball. So maybe Trevor Rogers can find his footing. Maybe Cade Povich gets healthy and finds a good footing in the bullpen too. Because right now, I think their biggest weakness right now is a left-handed person in the bullpen, having a quality one. Because you've been farting around with Dietrich Enns a little bit, and he's pitched fine.
Yeah, he's
Grant
fine.
Wolfram, I don't think has really taken the step that we were really hoping. Keegan Aiken has kind of not pitched well at all. You've tried Josh Downs. You've tried Nick Raquette. Like, if you could find yourself a quality lefty, and I might even say like a power lefty, that might really help the bullpen too.
Brett Cecil, he's still around. He's still throwing 100.
God, he's our age, man, isn't he?
Yeah, maybe a year or two older.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we just went an hour. Didn't even mention Basayo's name.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that guy is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Man,
is.
that
It's
guy
fun to
is
watch.
awesome. Yeah. That
Fun to
bomb
watch.
yesterday was fantastic. That was like a high school 3-0. Like you almost could see it in his eyes. Like, I'm gonna hit this out.
Yeah.
He just kind of leaned back. See ya.
Yeah. So Jackson, the only reason why I said that, he's got a 1.57 whip. He walks way too many guys. Then he's got like a 4.3 ERA. He's pitched okay at times. But I remember the Texas game early in the season, and I think every ball hit off of him was like 110. Now, obviously, that's not true. It just sounded like it in the stadium. I was sitting like third row with Rick Arnold, and it just every ball that they hit off of him just sounded like a bazooka, and they were hitting it hard. And he's pitched fine, not great, but he's not. I think we were all kind of expecting like this this guy to come out and throw like a 2-2 or 2-3 out of the pen from the left side and throwing 97, 98, and it just hasn't been there yet. Not saying he can't, but
pull up.
no, Wolfram's got more than one walk. Wolfram has he does have one walk, but he's got a 1.57 whip. Oh, it's because he's given up 22 hits in 14 innings. That's why. Yeah, guys just obliterate him. That's the big thing. So his whip is crazy high because he gives up a ton of hits, and they're loud. They're very loud hits.
Yeah.
Pull up who?
No, I just saw one of the comments about if Mayo's hitting near the deadline and we're contenders, do you want to move him for starting pitching? That's interesting, right? I guess the question is define hitting.
Who's playing third?
That too, but is he hitting 250? Is he hitting 275? Is he just hitting bombs? So he's hitting 225? It's a good question, right?
If he's hitting 240 with 20 home runs, are you giving that up?
No, I'm keeping him.
Right.
Because what am I trading him for? I'm probably trading him for like a mid-level
maybe a left-handed reliever. Maybe. Like if I could get Garrett Cleavinger out of him, like a healthy Garrett Cleavinger, I'd do that. But I don't know if that's even enough. Now, he's not healthy right now. He's pitching. He's not healthy.
Yeah.
But could I get somebody out of San Diego somehow, maybe? I don't know what they need him for, but I might look at it.
Do you think what do you think about the Rays? Because they seem to start out like this pretty much every year and then sort of fade a little bit. I think last year part of it was they just had so many home games and then they spent summer on the road. What do you think happens to them this year?
If they stay healthy, I think they make a run.
Yeah.
I think the defense will shore itself up. Their offense is defiant. You and I listened to the same podcast earlier. They kind of just do whatever they want and it works. And I can't complain about that at all. But I just think their pitching is good enough. Their bullpen has struggled in May, but I think they correct it pretty quickly. But I think overall, as long as they stay healthy, they don't lose any one of their 5 good starters right now. I think they go and acquire one more. They move Matz back to the bullpen, and then I just think they're going to get somebody who nobody thinks about as the 5th starter, and just make him into a quality arm who finishes the second half with like a 3.5, which is great for a number 5. Yeah, Yandy Diaz can hit, Caminero can hit, Aranda's great. Palacios does what he needs to do. Chandler Simpson's a good table setter. Like, I would be trying to make a run any way I can, and maybe try to get. I would, I think their hole is maybe in like right field, maybe center field, but it's really hard to acquire a center fielder. So, but they're going to look to acquire something, I think, to make them better.
I agree. I think this is the year because they're always making these trades. Like they traded like Isaac Paredes, right, when they were pretty good. Mm-hmm. Just
they had no business trading Shane Baz either.
Yeah, they didn't need to, and they didn't even need to, right? It's like, hey, they're fine without him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the question is, what are they doing? What are
they doing differently than everybody else?
Right, like how did the Orioles develop pitching the way that these guys develop pitching? Because like they're not picking at the top of the draft either.
No, they're mid every year. But I don't think they're chasing velocity, and I think that's a big thing. There are a lot of location. They still throw hard, but I don't think But I do think they put an emphasis on drafting pitching, and that's partly why they can't hit. But I mean, you got to pick your poison.
They figured out how to make it work for them from a hitting perspective.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, hey, we're not going to hit a lot of home runs, put the ball in play. It's like, how do we give ourselves more chances? Even if we're not hitting the ball as hard, but we're striking out 50% less than another team. inevitably, it's like if I'm taking 100 shots in basketball, I'm going to make more than if I took 50 shots, kind of thing. Like, how do I just give myself more chances? And I wish that's something that some of these guys on the Orioles would do. And in the past week, they have. Like a Blaze Alexander, like, hey man, just put the ball in play. Like Jackson Holiday, like just spray it somewhere and see what happens.
Yep. Totally agree with you. But yeah, it has been an hour and 15. Like time goes so fast when you're talking and having fun. It's easy to squirt time around. But I appreciate you joining me tonight. And I haven't seen too many other things to chat about in here. Well, I guess here's one question here. Let's move over to this and put this up here. So if Colton continues to improve through August, do you think about a 5-year, $65 million extension? I think it's too early.
Yeah, I think it's too early too.
Now, I mean, if he's hitting and he gets to a point where he's hitting like 260 and 15 home runs, I'd be pretty excited about that. But knowing that he still has, 3 years control, I don't think I'd have that conversation just yet.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Probably 3 or 4. The question, though, is inevitably, you just signed Tyler O'Neill for 3 years, $50 million. Would you rather have Colton Cowser for that type of cash, or would you rather have Tyler O'Neill? It's not really apples to apples, but it's giving you a frame of reference of how much cash is. Yeah. I just don't think you need to.
Yeah.
I just don't think you need to.
Yeah, there's a good bit coming up, and we got Nate George coming up at some point.
What happened to him, by the way? Did he get hurt?
Illness, which is very vague, but that's all they'll say.
I saw something about his shoulder or something like that. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I think that was just a couple days.
Delmarva last year. He said he was incredibly athletic.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah,
he's actually like a world-class sprinter too.
I'm not saying he is Mike Trout. That's not what I'm saying. His body type is like Mike Trout. He runs like Mike Trout. He runs like Mike Trout runs like Ed Reed.
Yeah,
has that
just balls to the wall too.
Same gait.
Yep. All right. Well, it's already 10 o'clock. I appreciate everybody stopping in tonight. Alex, thank you for chatting ball with us and trying to figure out how the Orioles got to where they were and how we can get back. Go ahead and give yourself any plugs if you're working on anything, if you anything you want to share, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, no, appreciate the time, Zach. Great being on with you. Big fan of the pod. So excited to see. Let's use that benchmark. 6 weeks, see where they're at.
I think that's fair. Cool. All right, everybody. Peace.